And just like that, I am back. Welcome to tonight's podcast with your girl Dina. That would be me. As we are journeying tonight, right? Thank you for joining me. If you have joined me tonight, please do drop down in the comments and let me know that you are here with me and that you are ready for tonight, right? So, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Just hit that little button at the bottom so you can subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when I go live. And last but not least, please do not forget to like and share the podcast, right? Send it to your friends, send it to your neighbors, send it to somebody who may be taking this journey like we're taking the journey of singleness and preparing for kingdom marriage, right? So, if you have not been following the journey, then I don't know what are you waiting on. So go on back, subscribe to the channel, and watch all the previous videos that I've already done that's got us to the point that we are now, right? So if you have watched the videos and you have been journaling with me for some time now, you know that we have talked about wholeness. We've talked about maximizing your singleness. We've talked about redefining your future. We talked about all of these things that is going to prepare us for a healthy kingdom marriage, right? Right. So there were things that we talked about working on ourselves. Like I said, all those topics we talked about. And the latest thing that we talked about was about identifying your soulmate, right? So we did the 5 keys to identifying your soulmate. We wrapped it up on last week. And so as I was thinking about what we were going to talk about this week, I kind of watched the video. And at the end of the video, the man said something that was really, it really stuck out to me. So I started jotting down what he said. And I was like, okay, Lord, so is this what we're going to do next? So after I wrote that down and I picked up a journal that I've had, I don't even remember when I had this and started writing in it, right? So it all just came and tied together. So I was like, okay, Lord, well, guess what? That's what we're doing tonight, this week, right? Hi, Angela. Hope you've had a great day tonight. Welcome to the journey with Dina tonight, okay? So, I've decided that tonight we're going to put all the practices that we've had into play, right? So, what does that mean? So, after we have done some of the work that we think that we need to do on ourselves and identified our soulmate, guess what? Sometimes there still is a dreaded word I hated to say, but I'm going to say it because it's been a process called the waiting period. Okay. Now, even though you do the work on yourself, you get everything done that you feel like you needed to do, guess what? There still may be a waiting period. I know. And sometimes it can be short and sweet, or sometimes it could be years in between the time that God actually says, okay, you are ready. And that differs between each person. And, this is just still my perspective on things. And this is my journey that I have been through, to even get to this point of where I am now, right? And there still may be a waiting period. Like you can have everything all together, and God said, guess what? It's still not time yet because there's some things that I still need to do, that I need to do. Now you've done your work, what you thought needed to be done, but God has other things that He still needs to do inside of you, right? And just like He's preparing you and working on you, He may be preparing and working on that other person so that when the time comes, that it will be what God ordained it to be, and He will get all the glory, right? So as I was doing a little homework today, trying to see which point I wanted to start from, I'm gonna start from this right here. So when I looked up the waiting period and try to put it into words, what I was feeling and thinking, it says that the waiting period can feel like a winding road, can't it? Listen, the waiting period, honey, be filled with peaks, valleys, mountaintops, twirls, all in between, right? It said it can be full of reflection, refinement, and sometimes restlessness. Many people of faith View that time as sacred, almost like a divine workshop while you're being shaped into the partner you're meant to be while learning what kind of partner you truly need. It is often not just about waiting for someone, but becoming someone, right? That season can look like deep self discovery, sharpening your vision, learning patience, trusting God's timing, and developing purpose. All those things are done in the waiting period. It is not always easy, Lord knows it's not, but it can be incredibly powerful when you look back and see how much you have grown. Let me tell y'all something. I have grown so much till it's almost scary. The things that used to bother me don't bother me anymore. I'm not as anxious as I used to be. I'm just like, whatever it is, Lord, okay. However, I have not always been like this, right? It has been a real process of me getting to this place of contentment, right? And so as I was going through my little journal, I picked it up because in my mind, I had started even writing a book on my process, right? And when I opened the book up, the first thing I came to was a scripture. And it says, "For ye have need of patience." Okay? Patience. Lord, that word will get you. Patience. That after you have done the will of God, ye may receive the promise. That is Hebrews 10 and 36. Okay? Because, listen, the waiting period, Lord have mercy. It's a lot. And it can be however long God wants it to be till He prunes you and purge you, take out some things, put in some things that He needs, and it's ultimately for His glory and it's for whatever it is that He's gonna have you doing, right? You and the purpose partner as well, right? So then when I opened up my book, I was like, let me see what I wrote, because I wrote this years ago and I don't even remember. So this is new to me, just like it's new to y'all, because I don't even remember when I wrote this, right? And so I was saying how this is, I wanted to write a little book called, because it was like a roadmap of how God led me through the process and through the my waiting period. And so I wrote that I have decided to share the journey, my journey, that God has placed me on to be a help and a blessing to other single people that are desiring marriage. Like, it has not been an easy process, but it so far has been very worthwhile, right? It says, "To the single people in waiting, when you feel like God has forgotten you and the desires of your heart, when you feel like there is not a special God ordained soulmate, y'all know we talked about that last week now, soulmate out there that you didn't even believe, you might not even believe in soulmates, but after last week's video, y'all should believe in it now, right? You should. That even when God gives you a promise, and He said that He will give you the desires of your heart. And so, guess what? If you desire to be married, God put that desire in your heart, right? So it says, even when God gives you a promise, there will still be a process to the manifestation of it. God ordained marriages are the apple of His eye, and He wants to get all of the glory. Prepare to ride with me on this roller coaster of life events, right? And it has been a roller coaster. And I actually wrote the first chapter, but it's not going to be my first chapter tonight, right? So, my first thing tonight we're going to talk about, like I said, is the waiting period. Like, what does the waiting period look like? And it looks different for everybody because everybody has different things that God needs to work out of them, right? So, when I talked about the patience, listen, that patience was something else for me. I'm not all the way where I need to be, but I have gotten so much better. And it wasn't by choice. It's not like I said, "Oh, God, teach me patience so that when I get married." No, baby, no, that is not where it came from. God took me through a series of things that taught me patience. And I remember one day, pertaining and thinking to marriage, and I got upset because something I did something, I can't remember what it was, and I got upset about it. And God said, love is patience. Every time I would get mad, I can just hear it echo, and love is patience. Patience is something that God will teach you in this waiting season. And until you learn how to, as Sean would say, wait well, you're going to keep on, keeping on until you get it down pat. Okay? I'm just telling you. It took a while. I ain't gonna say listen, it took me probably about a couple of years to get the patience, because depending on how long you've been single, like they say, once you've been single for a long time, it's hard for you to kind of get in the routine of other things, because we have our mindsets. We used to being by ourselves. We used to doing things when we want to do things, how we want to do things. And guess what? When you get married, it don't work like that. You have to die to self and prepare to become two instead of one. And so, in order for that to come, you can't wait until you get to that point. I feel like God puts us in different predicaments so we will learn that patience even before we get there. Because it's hard for you to learn something once you're already in it. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but it's way harder to learn it while you're in it, besides having the patience or the mindset of doing it before you get into it, right? And for me, the waiting period, like I said, it was something that I didn't ask God for. He kind of put me into it. And at first, I did not go willingly. I went kicking and screaming because I'm used to stuff happening when I want to happen it. And I had to, God told me that you needed to release control. Like you're so used to controlling things and doing how you want to do it when you want to do it. And that's not what we finna do. Okay. So I need you to release that control to me and let me run the show. So that waiting period is something, like I said, I didn't ask for. It's like the Lord put me in it. And there are so many things now that I can look back and say, I have grown so much. I mean, even from the simplest thing, like if something would happen, not on a time that I would want, because like I said, I used to be a planner. I used to plan it to the T. And if something didn't happen according to my plan and my time, oh my God, I would just go into a hissy fit. I would just be like, just throw everything away, just mad, sad, and just all over the place, because I was used to not waiting. And everything now, if you look at it, it's instant. Like you got the what is the Amazon? You can get it the same day. We got the microwave. You can, baby. We got the air fryer. You ain't gotta warm up the grease. Wait till the grease get ready. Batter the chicken and drop it all the stuff. Baby, put it in the air fryer. It's gonna be done before the grease get ready. And so I feel like society has put us so much in that mode of we don't want to wait, or we don't know how to wait, that it trickles on into relationships and life just like that. We don't want to wait for nothing. But guess what? When God's doing it, you still gotta wait. You gotta wait, because guess what? Even though God wants to bless you with what it is that you desire, a blessing given too soon is a burden. So you have to learn how to wait well in that waiting season. And it can go on for a long time. And that season of waiting, you should be able to look back and see where you have grown and be like, oh my God, I'm proud of myself. And it might take you a minute to catch on that that's what you're actually doing, trying to in the waiting period, but it's necessary. Everything is necessary, and it's all for the greater good, right? But that waiting period is something else. Like if you've been waiting for something, drop down in the chat and tell me, how did you go about in your waiting season, your waiting period? It may not be pertaining to marriage, but hey, that's my topic. That's my journey of life, and some other things. Because it's crazy, because I always felt like everything else came so easy to me in the waiting period, except for that I desired, which was waiting for marriage. Everything else came, like businesses, like buying a house, like buying my dream car, like everything else came so easy except for the waiting period on the marriage that I desire. I'm still in the waiting season, but listen, I'm a whole lot closer than I was years ago, and I have been transformed to kind of slowly die to Dina and be the person that God needs and desires me to be, right? Because it's not all about, we have this list of what we want, what we desire, and all this. And instead of us looking for that person that we want them to be, we need to become what we're looking for, right? How can I say I want a person who loves God, who goes to church, and I don't do that? That ain't right. How can I have asked for a person that is committed to family and doing all this other kind of stuff, and I don't do that? So instead of looking for somebody to be who you want them to be, try becoming what you're looking for, right? Because you got to die to self. So all the stuff that we have put on, we got to take it away. Because you know what God told me one time when I was talking about releasing control, and I was like, God, you want me to release control? He told me that I was too independent, too self-reliant, and that I needed to release control. And I was like, what? Like, how me? Like, you have trained me through all of my waiting period to be this person. So you want me just to let all that go and to just do what? And God said, well, that's because that's who I needed you to be in that season. And this next season that I have for you, I don't require that for you. So I need to pull back all those layers as we're going through the process of the waiting period. That's where it starts. Pulling back what you have built up, because I no longer need that for this next season. I need you to be somebody else. I don't need you to be independent anymore. I need you to release control and prepare for what I'm sending you. And I need you to prepare now before what I send you comes, so that when I send it to you, you will already be ready. So in the waiting period, that's what happened. I started pulling off layers of myself that I had built up all of these years and years. And some of the things I didn't even realize that I was holding until I was sitting in the waiting season. And I made up my mind to intentionally do the work that needed to be done while I was waiting. And I ain't gonna say it happened off that, no, because I was mad for a couple of years. Because I'm like, why is it taking me so long? Why other people did this and they did that? And the Lord said, who are you to tell me when to bless and how to bless them? I got this. I need you to work on you and do what needs to be done while you're in this waiting period, okay? So we're gonna do a little journaling through this waiting period. And I just wanted to come on tonight to give you just a brief view of how we're going to journey through this, right? And so the waiting period, like I say, it can be long, it can be short, but it is all to purge and to prune you for what comes after the waiting period. But in the waiting period is so much that we learn and grow through, right? And actually, that I said grow through, that would be our first thing that we will talk about on tomorrow is the growth, like the growing. And sometimes, let me tell you, baby, you have some growing pains. I don't know if y'all had growing pains, but baby, the growing pains be so intense. And I don't want to talk about it too much because we're going to get into that tomorrow. But like, whew, I don't know what labor pains feel like because I ain't have no kids. But baby, them pains right there can take you to a whole nother level. I'm talking about, listen, crying and it's stretching you and pulling you in ways you never imagined. But we're going to get into that tomorrow, right? So I just want to hop on tonight to give you an intro of what we're going to be journeying through this week. And like I said, we are going to be talking about the waiting period and what it looks like. And honey, what I've been through it. Because, I always get on here to tell y'all some of my business, but baby, it ain't my business, it's God's business. So, I'm just on here to share in hopes that I will encourage you to wait well, to prepare for what you're asking and waiting for, and to give you hope not to faint during the waiting period because it can be long and exhausting. But guess what? It is worth the wait. It is worth who you are becoming. So we're going to get into that on tomorrow. And yes, Angela, good things come to those who wait, but baby, we be wanting to give up. But the word says, and I'm gonna let y'all go, let us not grow weary. In your due season, you will reap if you faint not. Okay. So that's all I got for y'all tonight. Hope y'all can take that and chew on it until tomorrow night. And I will see y'all back tomorrow night at 7. So we're going to get into the waiting period even deeper and we're going to go into the growth. Okay. So I will see you on tomorrow night at 7. Okay. Until then, peace out and be encouraged. It will be worth the wait. Okay.